Hi, and welcome back to the online summit series, Yoga Beyond Exercise, conversations to heal and lead us into the new paradigm of peace, harmony, and prosperity. My name is Julie Upton, and I'm your host. Today's guest is Sharmini Gana. Sharmini is a oneness codes activator and unity guide. She has over 20 years experience in the fields of health, wellness, spirituality, and awakening. She is super passionate about helping us all get to the essence of being and to remember who we are at the core. I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I enjoyed having it.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening and good morning. I want us to give a huge welcome and thank you to Sharmini Gana for coming on to the summit today. Hi, Sharmini. How are you?
Hi, Julie. I'm grateful to be here with all of you. So thank you.
Great. Well, I just thought it would be fun if I just open the floor to you and to see if you had any inspiration for how you wanted to start this conversation today.
Gosh, put me on the spot. Sure, I love it. Well, I love that, Julie, because we're all really learning to be more present and to trust our own energetic flow. So I love that you just put it wide open and handed it over to me. So let me just say it's wonderful to be part of a big program like this that is given from hearts, pure hearts, to assist all those who are magnetized and resonate to the information here. So I want to share that we're obviously in the midst of a great awakening, a magical time on planet Earth, this incredibly sensorial playground that we all chose to incarnate in and to expand and grow in. And so it's really magnificent how so many of us souls who came here to play are waking up and connecting to ourselves and our own unique frequency and energy, and connecting to each other so that we can expand and grow this energy. And so I want to ask Julie now, this is just coming through. What was the drive? What was the passion behind this project that you're bringing so many of us together to talk about this?
Well, that's a really good question. What's driving my spirit to move into this summit was seeing how much suffering and feeling all the suffering in the world. And I've lived in many places around the world, so I'm connected to a lot of different cultures and people. And even the people that I'd spent so much time with in personal development, spiritual development, um, through health, wellness, uh, enlightenment, so to speak, were suffering so greatly. And I really sat with it. I really sat with it with myself, first of all, to feel into it and to really feel all the emotions that were going through me so that I wasn't just reacting. This is before I knew I was going to do a summit. You know, I think it's important to sit with emotions and not to react to them. So I sat with all the emotion that I was feeling every time I turn on the computer and connect, and even in conversation, you know, over phone calls and Zooms and various things. And after I fully processed to a point, this inspiration came to utilize my personal resources, which I have a background in journalism and I have, you know, 30 years of experience consciously exploring what this life is, and like, why am I here, and what is my purpose, and how do I work here? What is this thing called I? I, Julie Upton. And so I just jumped off the cliff. I think with so much traveling and meditation and spiritual seeking, for me, it's kind of come to an end in a sense. And when I grounded in to me, to myself, this was the inspiration that came through. So I just started contacting people that I knew or that I'd heard of or that just magically appeared on the screen of my computer. And I just started reaching out to people, that I felt a connection to see if they would just want to talk to me about, this time and what's going on. And not specifically about any one thing, So I think there's something in the summit for everyone because of that. Because it's not for me to decide like where people are at and to preach to them and tell them anything. Because of my own process, when the seeking, ceases, it's like we were talking about before. I don't know anything. Who am I to know? So it's an adventure. It's just an adventure. So the summit. And then even coming up with the title for the summit was an interesting endeavor. So every little aspect of it has been a huge expansion for me personally. Yes. So it's not like, oh, I'm just doing these conversations, interviews, and there's so much that goes into it that has been a part of my journey and my adventure into myself. So it's always pointing back to me. And I wanted to share that because I know that that's the only thing that we can do if we truly want to be out of suffering, so to speak. If we want to, I always say, and I have a pretty strong language about it because I feel like that's just what comes through. But if you want to have a life worth living, then it's important to start taking personal responsibility for yourself. And that's where the real work begins. So that's the work like I do with people in the world. And so this is just me sharing, my resources and myself and my special gifts and talents. Yeah.
Beautiful. I just was guided to ask because you brought us all together to share our own individual gifts and information with regards to this magical time. And so I thought it would be neat, it would be interesting to hear how did that all come about. And so I love how you sat with the feelings and all the suffering. And through that came this beautiful gift, this inspiration. And then you took action from your heart. And each of these actions have led to massive expansion. So that is so perfect. And I wanted to just, summarize what Julie shared as such an important unfolding for all of us in this time. We're all really coming into who we truly are, our true essence. And what that involves, as Julie shared, and as I too have gone through over the last, over 20 years, is the stepping in continuously to these new aspects of who we really are and facing the fear that involves, because you're being pushed to break out of the mold society, the programming, your family, culture, etc. has put on you, and you're quote unquote going against the grain. So it takes great courage and bravery, and I commend you. And I want to just share that as an inspirational example of really what this is all about. Essentially what it all boils down to, stepping into who you really are through feeling all these emotions, including the painful ones, the ones that we usually resist and deny. And then letting that open you, crack you open to this deep inspiration that comes from your core, comes from your who you really are, to do something about it. And then to take the action and see how you grow immensely through that. And I wanted to add, and Julie's a big proponent of this, she embodies this too, to have fun. To have fun, because that's something that I did not do for the longest time. I look like the most fun person, and I did have some fun, but there was a hell of a lot of seriousness on this awakening journey, and just being a human, being alive right now, being in this world and the energy. And I found that there's always this background heaviness. There's very few times in my own personal experience in life, and they've been so beautiful when it's happened, where there's a complete letting go. And surrendering just into this present moment. Letting all the past and even anything that happened a moment ago fall away. Just let it float away. Let it go. And take a slow, deep breath. And come on in, down to your heart, into your body, into your sanctuary. And just sit there for a moment and simply be. Just continuing to breathe, relax, bring all your energy back into yourself. Calling it all home into your heart. Just taking a moment to accept this beautiful, massive energy field that you truly are. Notice the nothing and the everything that resides here. Now that's what you truly are. That source. That's the infinity of possibilities and the eternity of all that is, right here, right now, in the present moment. So I'm going to leave it to each of you to continue to listen in this state, or if you would like, to gently and slowly take your time. There is no rush. There is nowhere to go. There is nothing to be other than simply this for the remainder of this talk. Just do what feels best for you. As I continue to share what is coming through in this moment, the only thing that exists is you. You are the only thing that exists here. You are a massive, massive field that has fragmented itself into all these different aspects in order to play, grow, expand, and learn at the soul level. Now, this involves suffering, immense suffering. That was the old way. And that was actually a deep gift. When you remove all the judgments, all the stories, the good or bad, the opinions, and you simply look at the pureness of what is pure energy experiencing itself through these various aspects. There is honestly nothing more glorious than this understanding, than this awareness, than this witnessing of beauty itself, life itself, moving, dancing, growing, and playing. That is the true essence of what is happening here now. For the purposes of the game, you may be aware, and please only take what resonates. Always tune inwards and throw out the rest. This is a unique individual journey. So the game was played in such a way that the way that we expanded predominantly was through suffering and pain. But we are now at a pivotal time in human history, a pinnacle, an absolutely incredible time where we, you and me, we get to change the game from the old way of expansion through suffering, separation, grief, and pain as the predominant operating system to the new way, connection, love, joy, play, peace, and unity. Now, how exciting, how juicy, how delicious is this? This is where we are at this magical time. Breathe that in. Breathe all that in. There is a remembering that is occurring during this magical time. Many of you will resonate and know what I'm talking about, what I'm sharing here, because I'm simply an aspect of you speaking up in this moment and remembering. So now is the time to start to let go. Let go, let go, let go of all of the old. It is all old, all of it. The new is here now, in the pureness of this moment here. The new is joy, is laughter, is peace, is love, true love, pure love, unconditional, deep source essence love. And so now is the opportunity to expand through this, through joy, through dance, through play, and all of the fun stuff that you know you love, that the little child in you is remembering, and even going beyond that. Unleash your imagination. Open your heart so big, nothing, and no one can shut it down ever again. That is how powerful you are, we are, and I am. Apologize, the kitty's having a little coughing fit if you hear that. And now it is time. It is time. It is time for fun. We know what it's like to learn through seriousness. Oh boy, do we know. And we are wrapping up that game. As you all know, at a deep level, this is a holographic, virtual reality video game. It is a game. You chose, we all chose, to confine our massive essence to a little physicality and to experience being in deep, dark density. Imagine being everything and being able to forget fully and completely who you really are and what you really are, and to become so lost that you suffer immensely. What a ride. Really, the analogy is this is a playground, and all these experiences are wild roller coasters and incredible rides that when you are going click, 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 click up the massive roller coaster and the fear and anxiety, excitement, exhilaration, the not knowing, and you have to push through. You have no choice. And then you go over the top, and the breathlessness and your heart jumping up into your throat and the fear. And then suddenly it gives way to exhilaration and joy. Wow. Can you feel the roller coaster ride that we have all been on? Magnificent souls that we are, incredible beings that we are, to choose to come here and experience this. And we keep on doing it. You get off the ride and you go back into line and away you go. I mean, truly, this is how incredible we are. I'm trying to convey a small sense energetically of how massively powerful, empowered from within you truly are. So breathe that all in. Just accept it. Feel the glory of it. Feel the gratitude of it. Feel the pureness of it. The innocence of it. It is innocent. You are innocent. And it is a letting go of all that is not innocent in you. All that is not pure joy in you. All that is not pure love in you. And it occurs bit by bit. It's all part of the experience. There is a graduality. So be patient. The number one thing is to be patient. And what helps with remembering that is to play more. Play more. Laugh more. Dance and move more. You can move right now. We have become so stiff in these bodies. We have had all that movement and joy taken right out of us. No wonder your back hurts, your shoulders hurt, your neck hurts. Yeah, we've got to move more. We've got to play more and get out of the seriousness. This is how we bring the new. This is how we bring the new. So part of my role is to remind us of this beautiful essence that we truly are. You look at the trees, you look at the mountains, you look at the sky, you look at the bees and the birds, and you are in awe. You look at the flower, the blade of grass, you are in awe. Look at yourself. Look at yourself. Do you understand that you're actually just seeing yourself? Yes, in the physicality, it's separate. Energetically, it is not. Energetically, it is not. It's all you. So stop worshiping anything outside, anyone outside, anything outside, and start worshiping you, your essence, the spirit that is inside you, all that you are, all that you are, all that you are. You feel the expansion that's happening inside you as you receive the words to remind you to activate your knowing. All that you are. Always, always were, always will be. Nothing, no one, nothing can take this away. It is a fundamental fact. It's what you are. Breathing in all that. Just receiving it. Letting it come through you. As you realize you are that which you seek, what you seek is seeking you, you pay more attention to yourself, to your inner state, because that is what creates. From an energy perspective, everything that exists in the physical here was first energetic. And it is the same with each of us, with you and me. So the greatest pollution and stuff is within. And as we excavate, clean out, purge, and face and look at all these programs, these dramas, traumas, whatever it may be, anything where you don't feel good is for you to look at. Just take a moment, or if you can, write it down. And when you have a moment, make it your priority. The priority is me. The focus is me. That will change everything. That is a transformative awareness. That is a transformative point when you have arrived at coming back to me. How do I feel right now? How is my body? What's happening inside? Do I need to play a little bit and then work through the emotions, or work through the emotions and then play? I really have started, and this is recent for me. It's been, again, 20 plus years, very intense, and even 25, 30 years, buying books, going to programs, trying to understand, who am I? What is this all about? What is this human experience? And so play is so important, because think about it. Feel it right now in your body. Contract everything like you have to do sometimes in yoga class. Contract it all. Hold it all tight for a minute. It's actually great exercise.
Yes.
And now let it all go. Wow. Wow. Did you feel the release of how much energy was trapped when we're contracted, which we are most of the time, most of us are, because of the experience here in the programming. So with bringing in play, you get to relax like you did when you let it all go. And the spark comes, and the joy comes, and the energy grows. And this energy is so powerful that as you connect more to it, it becomes, your guide. And this is the other part of learning to worship yourself. That sounds maybe extreme, but it's just the truth. You worship religions, you worship celebrities, you worship spiritual gurus, you worship these heroes and figures in the stories you're told. And where am I? Where are you in this? So learn to worship yourself. Put yourself on a pedestal. Give your energy back to you. You have no idea how much energy is going out. And I only know from my own experience. I mean, I thought I was aware, but boy, it's only recently that I've really started to understand, my God, my energy is going to all these external things, to-do lists, maybe an upcoming call, maybe something in the past. So that's called being unconscious, and that's our default. And we're learning through the breath, through the words I said earlier, through the energy of that, and our own different unique paths that will be brought to us, and has been brought to us, and will continue to be brought to us as we're on this beautiful, unique journey. Ultimately, we're learning to relax, to fully relax. Relax into yourself. Catch yourself. Hold yourself. Love yourself. Soothe yourself. Trust yourself. You are everything. You are all of it. You just forgot as part of the game. And it is not good or bad. It's magnificent. It is the most powerful expansion. This planet has a lineup of souls waiting eagerly. Are y'all done yet? Dying. Didn't mean a pun there, but to get in here. So it is like winning the lotto. I know that could be hard to believe, but if you feel the energy of what I spoke, if you feel that energy of your own presence, your own essence, there's no words there. There's only knowing. So even the fact that the population has massively exploded makes no sense at all if you look at it, other than the energetic sense, the playground sense, that in the last, 50, 60 years, it's exploded to almost 8 billion. I think we're getting close to 8 billion. And it's because a lot of souls came in to get sort of the last, experience with this incredibly powerful, expansive game before things shift. And the exciting part about this shift is it's up to you. It's up to you. Yeah, that's awesome. When you realize you get to take your own power back. Aren't you tired of looking outside for someone or something to save you? No, nobody outside is going to do your work. Your soul won't let that happen. Not allowed, because that's called bypassing. You know yourself. Every challenge makes you stronger. You learn immensely. You have to. And you garner life experience. You expand tremendously at a soul level. The deeper your challenges, the bigger the expansion. And the greater the joy that waits on the other side once you do your inner work and transmute your pains and the collective stuff and who knows what you took on as a soul. So it's really a magical time here. I want to just convey that to you energetically and through my heart, that we are here. We are here now. We are awake and we are awakening together. We know now more than ever. Oneness, unity, one heart, one world, one love. This is like my mantra. It's just part of what I came here to share and to be, is oneness. So I have waited such a long time, like I know many of you, and now I let go, I let go, I let go, and continue to let go of anything that is not love, not this pure love. I let go of the past as much as I can. I'm still human. I'm still learning. But I see the glorious aspect. Yes, I have my triggers. I have my meltdowns. Ask my sweet husband. But wow, have I grown in how I respond, where I used to react and I was, unable to even comprehend what was happening. The emotions were so massive, they took you for a ride. And it's kind of like you came out of it hours later. Sometimes it would be days for me, stuck in dark loops. And I share that because if anyone is experiencing deep intensity, extreme pain and suffering, darkness, suicidal states, toxicity, I just want you to know you are so strong. You are so powerful. This is something the soul took on and that you're going to grow immensely from if you can change your perception and how you look at this. And so that's another powerful awareness. is that it is not what happened ever. Okay, it is not what happened, who did what to who took what, who stole this, who doesn't matter, who hurt who. It is not what happened. It is the energy of how you feel about it, how you perceive it. Have you done the work? Have you done the work? And the work is to see the bigger picture, bird's eye view, picture yourself being pulled back and looking at the planet. That's how you have to energetically bring yourself back through practice. Through practice. Life is an ongoing practice. Every challenge is to help you with your mastery, to help you remember you're a master. We are here to master our emotions and to emotionally mature and evolve. So every time you pull yourself back, be gentle with yourself. The number one thing is, no matter what you do, it's not wrong or right. It's what your soul felt was best at the moment for all involved. And the souls interact, just so you know. So it's not just your soul. If it's your partner, if it's your children, whoever it is, your friend, your parent, whoever's involved, the souls are communicating to see what will serve. And so just really learning to pull yourself back and remember, you are not the victim or the victimizer. There is no such thing. It's a game. It's an illusion. None of it is real. But what's coming up? What emotions are calling out to be breathed in and accepted? Because that's really, from my experience through deep, deep darkness for over a decade straight, is the emotional work and the acceptance of all the parts of us, all the fragments of us. As a highly fragmented soul, I had to learn and I continue to do the work. So it's like a mindset shift. And Julie, I feel like asking you about, did you experience or have you experienced when you stop being a victim in how you respond to what's happening, the circumstances, the challenge, the situation, and you start centering or breathing or, and realize, whoa, this feels horrible, which means I'm out of my alignment. So what is this showing me is in me? And now I get to experience with curiosity, with learning, with expansion, with empowerment. This is no longer victim. Why is this happening to me? When will it get easier? How many years do I have to endure? Slam after slam after slam. And I'm speaking for myself, just in case you're wondering. I didn't just make that up. I've lived that. And so I really learned. And as I continue to at times drop in back to that, but it's lighter, my recovery is faster. Like, it's this continual process of reminding yourself how far you've come, knowing you can't go backwards. You think you can. That's a great story, an ego program, but you cannot. And so, Julie, if you feel like sharing, your experience around the shift from victim and victimizer to, wait, I have a choice. Mm-hmm. And that empowerment.
Yeah, thank you for asking, actually. Mine started a long time ago. I'm a very fiery person, a lot of pizza. And I was always arguing, let's say, with my father specifically.
I have that too.
So I would be enraged by whatever was going on. And then I would have this incredible sadness. So in the rage, I would have, and this is at a young age, and I watched it happen. I would have this self-righteousness, like feel so empowered and in the moment. So felt good, and then after, like very shortly after, I would have insane, intense regret and just sadness. And that was my pattern of erupting into a rage and then have incredible regret, grief, sadness. And I remember when I left my parents' area, like where I left their house, but I didn't just leave their house and move out. I like moved across country.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I've always been a very deep person ever since, like really contemplative. And I remember when then I would be talking on the phone with my parents, like once a week. It was like Sunday, my Sunday call home, from California. And I would dread the moment when my dad would get on the phone. And that made me sad. I'm like, he's my father. No matter what he's done or anything, he's my dad. And I wanted so badly to love him unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said at that young age that I will make that my life's work. My life's work is going to be to learn how to love my father. Now, I did not know at that moment in time what that was going to unravel. And it's been a long time. I mean, that was in 1992. Where are we now? And
2020. You need a reminder.
Like when you're open to change, the opportunities will show themselves, because because the whole world is coming from us. And so over the years, it was a super emotional charge. And it wasn't like just with my father. Come on, really? Like I was like a raging lunatic. I mean, like me on alcohol is like not pretty.
Yeah, I relate to a lot of what you're saying. And
but it's like through that process, and then say like when I made amends with my father, I remember, and it was funny. I won't go into the whole thing, but so I made amends with my dad, and I remember the moment it happened. But then I would feel the grief and sadness again in other situations. Mm-hmm. So I realized, okay, I got what I needed externally in that situation. Mm-hmm. But I haven't settled it internally, because now I'm seeing that pattern arise again. So I was like through relationships with men. Mm-hmm. And the most recently, so again, it's this awareness, but the opportunities for growth and expansion, they came at increments.
Yes.
It didn't for me all just come at once. And I have because I've been on a spiritual path for so long, I mean, I don't even call it that anymore. It's just me. It's just a path to remembering me.
Yes.
But 4 years ago, somebody I had a very deep, deep soul connection to died very suddenly. And I had a lot of regret around that, because my intuition told me that he was going to die and I was going to go visit him. And then I didn't. And then he's gone, and I had no recourse. I couldn't just turn around and make it all better like I could before. Because, we can mask it with I'm sorry and, buying gifts, whatever. It can be energetic. It can be physical. And I know people know what I'm talking about. I could not turn around and make amends there to an external being.
Yes.
And that's when I knew, whoa, okay, I am still sitting with these emotions of regret, of sadness, and of grief. Again, like this was 4 years ago. So do you see, like I thought I'd worked on that. And then I thought I worked on it again, and I had been, but there wasn't the remedy quite yet. And that's okay, because my soul was learning and growing and expanding within those experiences. But when this person passed away out of his body, I knew. I was like, whoa, okay. Now I'm not gonna, I refuse to repeat that pattern ever again. And that was the commitment I made to releasing and feeling any kind of sadness that came up. And interestingly enough, in my commitment to that, I had to make a lot of changes in my physical reality because this happened in India. And in India, they have a rule, like it's a cultural rule that you're not allowed to cry. So I had to physically take my body and remove it from situations where I wasn't able to feel because I couldn't explain it to them because my Hindi wasn't good enough. And so they were like, oh, no, no. And I understood why they don't cry. They feel like the soul is going to want to connect to that person because, you know, they're sad or whatever. But I needed to release. So luckily, whew,
Absolutely. Tears wash the soul.
out of that situation because our soul connection was so deep and transformative in its essence that I was not going to let his death go in vain.
Yes.
So that was like this catalyst for the deepest letting go I've ever experienced. And what's come from that?
Yes.
Whoa. I mean, it's the timing is always going to be perfect in everybody's lives. You know, every single thing is on purpose. And it is the more you recognize it, the more you get to empower yourself with yourself. And so I mean, like the person I was 4 years ago, I'm not that person.
Absolutely.
Not at all. I mean, now, it's so funny, you know, but I'm hoping this, but that's a good story because I had that grief and that sadness and that regret pattern. Everybody kind of has their emotions, their go-to emotions. You know, we all have
patterning. Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that you shared. Yeah. Sorry.
So now it comes up, but I really understood what you just said a minute ago. When it comes up now, any kind of emotion, I'm grateful. I'm like, bring it. And that's when everything in my life has to stop. I cannot hide from it. I can't run from it. I don't have to, but I choose to be with it because it's a gift. It's such a gift because that's all it's trying to do. And if I don't feel it completely, it's just going to replace itself in another situation. So in a way, it's like, well, I don't want to feel that again if I don't have to. So
I want to do the work.
I want to do the work. So
to be free.
The more that you choose to do that, the less, you said that a minute ago, the less and less it happens.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, you got to dig deep and deeper. And it's funny, like if you want to know how you're doing, you just got to look around in the world around you. Your physical manifestation is definitely an indicator. Yeah. But it's very it's all self-inquiry. It's self. Now, I know I needed help on that path. I still do because, you know, we need each other.
Yes.
But like, I don't get into stories with friends. You know, I don't gossip. I don't do any of those things that would perpetuate suffering. I'm very careful.
You're very aware now.
Very aware, very careful.
To take responsibility, like you were talking about.
You know, back in the day when I was an early Buddhist, I remember hearing this one phrase and it just stuck out of the thousands of hours I've studied Buddhism and yoga and all the texts and the translations. There's one phrase that I love more than anything, and it's Tibetan. I'll butcher it, but my pronunciation is Fluxum Namdak. Okay. And it was explained to me as 100% personal responsibility. That's what I call myself. I call myself a personal responsibility coach. It's if you're not ready, you aren't going to be working with me. Like, But if you are ready, it's like going to be the time of your life, because I have to play. If I don't play, then it's like
It gets stuck.
it
It's,
gets stuck, but I know it's not authentic. I mean, I think people are going to get a sense of me when they see this like summit, like
I love it.
I got the
The
rhythm
head
of me.
bob.
It's kind of like I got the rhythm of life in me, and I always have. And I'm just like, I don't have
Oh,
to be responsible for other people's stuff.
that's right. So I love, like, you shared so many important points. I have to share with you, like, as a reflector back to you and just listening to what I got from that was so powerful. So for all of us, this journey has no end. And so when we understand it's the isness, yeah, it's happening. It's all happening, you know. And I've struggled with that. Oh my God, I thought I dealt with that. And what? It's still reaming me, kicking my butt. So I just want to really emphasize the point as, kind of, how do I say, like senior awakening people who've been on the path for decades, that to drop all that stuff, to drop the stories, the comparitis. Well, that person woke up in 2 years. Oh, they had this profound, Eckhart Tolle, lovely fellow, love his teachings. But, you think, oh, will it happen to him overnight? He was suicidal, all this stuff for most of his life. Okay, well, I experienced that for years and years. I didn't have that happen. So it's really understanding that it is an ongoing process, like Julie shared so powerfully, and that a lot of times it will take a massive event, like a sudden passing of a very powerful human in our life, or something like that. It's a massive event. And remember, the souls are connecting, they're communicating. Okay, this is going to serve all involved. And, all of us can speak to the fact that it's usually a passing of a loved one or some kind of traumatic sudden event that leads us to start questioning, what am I doing with my life? Or is this what I really want to do, the path I'm on? And so it's so powerful, but understanding the graduality of this unwinding of these patterns, patience, patience, patience. The minute we stop saying, why is this still happening, or why? I mean, we're free. It just is happening. And this is part of the practice of letting go of everything, the past, the stories. Because if you could see from your bigger perspective, it's been perfectly unfolding for you. None of it was a mistake. There is no such thing as mistakes. That is a mind program in this human operating system that helped us to shut down and to suffer and to experience the depths of darkness that the collective, all of us, wanted to play with, to see what it's like, because it's so intense, so sensorial. And then, talking about play and how important that aspect has been for you on your journey, and how really right now this energy of play, of lightness, and you can feel the shift when we laugh, or you're going from serious, this happened, and then there's a laughter. And I mean, that's very powerful. I felt myself, and I want to share this because it's really powerful visually, laughing so hard. And I felt this probably about 8 or 9 months ago. There's this fountain inside us. And when we're laughing really hard, it's like this golden energy. You picture a golden fountain inside you, like right, from your core, and it's just bursting out this energy like a fountain. And I literally felt that. And I felt how it was hitting all my cells and all my whole body at every level with this pure joy, this pure joy. So think of that. when you're laughing next time. And laughter is so important. I don't really know anyone who doesn't feel better when they're laughing, but there might be some grumpies out there. That's okay too. But really, if you go underneath all those stories in our programs, the laughter it's freedom, and freedom around what you shared, Julie, like just taking the time to feel it, and not judging it. Responsibility, because of the connotation in our human language, is a heavy term, and it can be heavy in awakening too. Got to take responsibility, And I just think, okay, but can we lighten it up, all of us? Can we make it fun and play? Because it's all been set up by your soul. Okay, you didn't screw up. You never can. You never can. You're the star of your own movie. It's unfolding, but the stories and the programs and the idea that this is success and this isn't, whether it's how you look, how much money's in your bank account, blah, 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 blah. All that will make you feel like, oh, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have, But really, again, learning the bigger picture is freedom. And then it takes practice. But it's understanding it's all happening perfectly just because it is, in the isness of it. So even you don't like something, you can't deny that it's not like that, it's happening. You can't deny that. So that's where acceptance is so important as the first step, just accepting what is. It doesn't mean you agree, doesn't mean you condone. It means that you realize, yeah, this is happening right now. This is happening. And then in that space that's created, when we accept and we stop fighting it, judging it, opinionating, telling stories about it, that allows more fluidity to come in to the energy. And that allows things to move. And that's why laughter and play, it expands you. It relaxes you. So information, downloads, codes can come in. Very important right now. Plus, who the heck doesn't want to have more fun? You want more seriousness, really? Okay. I'm sure there's a club over there for that. Exactly. We've started the fun club, the play club. And, things can get very serious on the awakening path too. I mean, all of us who have been on it for some time know it's a lot of work, a lot of, pain and intense suffering.
I think too, that's a perspective, don't you think? It's like,
yes,
you learn that your perspective is everything.
Yes.
Shifts
How
that.
you see it.
Like I said a minute ago, like when I have an emotion, I go into gratitude. And then when I say I stop everything, it's like, I know how important that is. So I give that, you were saying earlier about, worshiping the self. It's like, yeah, because
if you're not okay,
get what we need is by honoring. I like the word honoring, because honor is what we give to ourselves and to each other. And it's like, by honoring me, I'm honoring everybody, everything. And I think, I get a lot of questions about, well, I want to take care of the earth and about the earth. And I'm like, why do you think the earth is in such a precarious situation? I'm like, because people are not honoring themselves. And in that honoring of self, you make choices differently than you would a person. Like, people go into altruism, like everything, like, I'm doing good for you. And it's like, you can't do good for someone else. Like, I've lived in third world countries and people think giving money is such a good thing. It's like, sometimes like the most horrible thing that you can do is give a poor family money. They don't know what to do with it. Bad things can come from it. I've seen it time and time again. So it's like, again, as we've been saying, is turning it inward on the self and really seeing, why do I feel like I need to change that person's life? Like, what makes me think that I have something better that that person needs? You know, it's a very fine tuning. It's such a fine experience. And it's like, but then it becomes effortless effort. And it's like, you, after a while of practicing, because we're constantly expanding. So there's not like a time, as you said, where we're like, oh, I'm there now. You know, there isn't that. There's just,
but you learn discernment. You learn discernment. Yeah. And that I had to go through that too, Julie. Absolutely. Visiting third world countries and being brokenhearted. And, you know, my mom, I'm a bleeding heart. Like, so my sisters and mother don't feel this. And I'm just like, traumatized by all the, you know, poverty and suffering I'm seeing. Like, I'm like PTSDing, you know, but yeah, wanting to give money. And I spent years giving a huge portion of my life savings to animal rights and being an activist and vegan, all kinds of stuff. And I just got burnt out, and it's not sustainable. So absolutely, the altruism, learning that you have to take your power back. It's a program to give and be good and take care of others. It's the hardest thing in the world, I've personally found. And I think many of us, because the programming is so against it. Because if you did worship yourself, you'd be so powerful. You would just, this game would be over, you know?
it'll be powerful.
Yeah, we are.
One of us on this planet that can get out of it. Because until you make that decision,
Yes,
everything is always going to cause some sort of controversy, I'll say,
yes,
instead of a remedy.
that's right. Because it attracts drama, because it's a story of needing to be a savior and all of these other things. And so Dalai Lama, I saw him in 2007 in Toronto, and he said, pity denotes superiority, because you are feeling sorry for that one. What does that mean? You're better. You're in a better position. Instead of allowing people, this is a huge learning on this path, right? Because we all have been through, or many of us, helping people and realizing it doesn't go anywhere until they're ready to help themselves, as you said. But yeah, it really is an old emotion. And I know we're short on time, or we're wrapping up. So I just want to end with bringing it back to ourselves. So my last bit here that's really made a world of transformation for myself. And I'm just really learning this after decades experiencing it. Like you said, we know a lot intellectually, we read and comprehend, but to embody, that's where the patience is required, and the action. There's a big discrepancy between the talk and the being, the walk. But become your own best friend. Become your own best lover. Become your everything. That is called self-sourcing. And it is so important. It is vital. It is the foundation to moving forward in freedom flow. An organic, orgasmic, yes, you can have fun with that too, flow. And so that's my, key thing is put yourself first, treat yourself like your own little baby, with great love and compassion and kindness and forgiveness, and worship yourself in a pure, loving way. We're not talking about manicures and pedicures and 3-hour massages. All that's great. We're talking about inner, true essence of who you are, and you will shine and you will transform your world because it's your creality. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Sharmini, for coming on and sharing your wisdom and your higher self and heart with all the people that will come in contact with us here through this amazing technology. I appreciate you so much, and I am so grateful.
Thank you, Julie. It's an honor to be together with you, with all of us. And let's unite. Let's do this. Let's move forward. Let us experience the new world, become the new human, and create the new earth together.